What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I am Chad, the Reseller Rockefeller. Today I figured I wanted to do another video and I want to talk about something that I see so many resellers struggling with, and I see just in general people, even if they're new or if they're veterans, they're not understanding, how to think outside of the box. They're not realizing that there's so much out there other than just your common run-of-the-mill items that every reseller is going after. So, I did a little study for the past couple of days. I've been going to different resellers' Facebooks, different resellers' Instagrams, Twitter accounts, YouTube videos, and I've kind of just studied other resellers for about 3 days. I didn't make it aware that I was, I didn't tell everybody that I was watching them or anything, and I was just trying to see, what people were buying. It's real important to understand what other resellers are buying, and I wanted to kind of write some stuff down. So what I did was I took my pad and paper. It's right here. I have tons of stuff that I wrote down. What I seen other people buying. So there's tons of resellers on YouTube, and they're always making videos, always showing the kinds of items that they're picking up at garage sales, thrift stores, auctions, estates, different places, even out of the dumpsters. There's tons and tons of stuff out there to buy. But one thing that I noticed throughout these past couple of days is all resellers that I could find are almost buying all of the identical stuff. I mean, everybody is buying the same stuff. DVD players, VCR combos, clothing. And if it's clothing, it's always the same kinds of brands. Whatever is hot, whatever is popping, whatever is popular and trending, which is expected. If you're a clothing seller, you're going to sell or buy whatever is selling. So I can kind of push that one to the side because it's not unrealistic that if you're a clothing seller, you're going to be buying and selling what everybody else is buying and selling. But for everybody else, it seems to be that everybody is buying and selling the same stuff for the most part. I did find a few resellers that think outside of the box, and I'm not going to mention all of them, but I will mention a few of them. Craigslist Hunter, for example, he is always buying things that are not really your everyday items, things that you don't see a lot of resellers dealing in or buying or even thinking of purchasing. I always see him buying and selling interesting items, things that, I've never even seen before. Another person that is, I think, somewhat new to YouTube is Ty Blunt. His name is Ty Blunt. His YouTube channel is Ty Blunt. Great guys. I've been watching their channel since they just started recently. And go over there to their channel and check it out. Also, if you're not already subscribed to the Craigslist Hunter, he is a great guy. His name is Pete. He's really acknowledgeable. He knows his stuff. But, those two are one of the two that I wanted to mention because both of them, they think outside of the box. They buy stuff that not all resellers are out there looking for, and that's how you can get ahead in this game and in this business. Just like myself, I'm always out there trying to find weird, unusual, unique items that nobody else is really looking for. So like when I go out to yard sales, I'm always seeing the same resellers, especially because I'm always going to yard sales in my local area. So I always see the same old resellers over and over again. But the funny thing is I'm always out there going to auctions, going to yard sales, going to thrift stores, flea markets, wherever, and I'm always out there sourcing, and I'm always able to find these really good deals. And it just blows me away that I can go to a yard sale, somewhat in the midday. Around here, yard sales end at around like 10:30 to 12 o'clock. I can go to a yard sale almost at the end of the peak of yard selling, around 10, 12 o'clock, and I still will find some really good items. And it just shows me that these resellers are obviously missing these items. They're not thinking that these items are worth anything. They're just passing it up like it's junk, like it's trash, and I'm buying these items and I'm able to make a killing selling them. So it goes to show you how much resellers are missing stuff, how much that they're zoned in and they're so focused on your common run-of-the-mill items that everybody on YouTube, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is talking about. They're missing all of the other stuff. And so that's why I wanted to make this video and let you guys know that you need to start thinking outside of the box. You have to start looking for that really cool stuff. I mean, it doesn't even have to be cool. It just has to be worth money. And I see people passing up stuff all of the time. I was at an auction about 4 or 5 days ago. I purchased a medical grade microscope. Now, I don't know the names and everything. I can't remember the exact model number and the exact brand, but I know it was it had Bosch and Lomb lens. It was a really high-end microscope. I actually sold it to a friend of mine who is in the medical field, and he collects medical equipment. He has a huge collection of vintage and antique medical equipment. So he was a perfect person that I could take the item to. Not only does he know more about it than I do, but I knew that he would be extremely interested in it, and I know that he's a big buyer. So that goes right along with my last video where I talk about networking and building relationships. I didn't have to list the item. I didn't have to take pictures of the item. I could sell it to somebody and I don't have to pay any fees, any shipping, and I don't have to worry about packaging an expensive item. But the gist of this story is, when I was at the auction, there was probably 8 to 10 other resellers there, and nobody bidded on this item. Nobody even cared to even throw a bid out on this item. I would have been able to pick this item for extremely cheap, but the auctioneer started the bid off at $300. I guess they did their research, but they were expecting this item to go for around probably $1,500 to $2,000. Luckily, nobody else in the entire room bidded on the item. So I got the item for $300 plus some fees and stuff. You know, let's just say that I paid $400. I ended up selling this item just a few days later for $4,800. Now this is I'm not going to say this is extremely common, especially I don't find, medical grade microscopes all the time, but I find items all the time that I'm spending a couple of $100s on and selling them for a couple of $1,000. Maybe I'm only spending $100 and selling it for $800, whatever the case may be. I'm always finding these kinds of high-end, items out when I'm sourcing, and it just seems that so many resellers are passing this stuff up. You don't know how many times that I've been at yard sales and I've watched resellers literally go right over an extremely expensive item because it wasn't something that they knew about. It wasn't something that all these resellers are talking about. It wasn't an item that's, on the BOLO list. And that's the thing that you got to understand. You need to stop following just resellers. I understand that everybody wants to watch YouTube. Everybody wants to kind of be within that reselling community and communicate with other resellers. I do it all the time. I watch tons of YouTube videos. I love following other resellers. But the one thing that I don't do is I don't follow them enough to pay attention to what they're telling me to buy. I do that on my own. 15 years experience in the game. Obviously, I don't need somebody to tell me, good things to buy, bad things to buy. This is what you should be buying. These are all things that you need to be figuring out by yourself, because it's going to make you more successful in the long run. It's going to make you a better picker, a better sourcer, and you're going to be able to go out there and find items that other resellers are not, they're not looking for, or they don't know what it is, or they just don't care to even, look at an item because it's just not on the radar for resellers. And that's how you have to think about this if you're going to try to compete in the reselling business. I seen a video, I think it was Craigslist Hunter's last video, and he talked about the edger that he purchased. It's like a trimmer. It's I think it was vintage. I'm not really sure if it had any age on it or not, but it was a unique, weird, off-the-wall item. And I definitely understand exactly where he was coming from when he was talking about, other resellers passing this kind of item up, and they wouldn't even think twice about it. I mean, it didn't look extravagant. It didn't have a really big name brand on it like Still. It didn't stand out like a really good item. So most people probably would pass that item up. most people probably would have passed it up just because it was fairly large. I know that most resellers that I watch on YouTube and most resellers that I communicate with and have relationships with, they don't deal in big items. They don't want to mess with big and bulky items. And it's something that I understand to a certain extent. I understand not wanting to mess with big items. It's much harder to ship those kinds of items. And it's really hard and it's really tough if you don't know what you're doing, because if you sell a really big item and then you have to give that person has to return that item, you can lose out a bunch of money. So that's where experience comes in. Once you have enough experience and you know how to protect yourself from scams, or you know how to properly list the item so you know that you're not going to get a return, then you can step up and you can start shipping bigger items, large items, unique shape items. You can't let that, scare you or block you from making money. This is the business. If you're going to be in the reselling business, you need to open up your mind. You need to realize that there is so much stuff out there that's not being touched, that's not being looked at. Just because it's not on your radar doesn't mean it's not worth buying. It doesn't mean it's not worth looking up. You need to think outside of the box. You need to realize that, it's troubling. It really is. I see so many resellers that are just falling down in the pits of misery because their business isn't succeeding, because they're not able to find enough stuff. They're not able to source enough items. And that's just crazy, because there's so much stuff out there. There's so many avenues that you can take to source. There's so many different places that you can go. That you can do advertising. You can go to auctions, flea markets, thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales. You can buy storage units. You can buy business closeouts. You can do all sorts of stuff. It's endless. It's an endless possibilities out there. And so, I really want to make sure that this video gets across to you. I know that I'm talking fast. I know that I'm kind of rambling on, but it's really important for everybody that's watching this video to understand that you can't be held back anymore. You need to realize to think outside the box. You need to start thinking about other things than just your normal run-of-the-mill items, the common stuff, the bread and butter items, as we call it in the reselling business. Think outside of that box. Open up your horizon, expand your mind, and start buying stuff that you never would have thought of in the past. Start going on eBay. Start to look at items. Look at what people are selling. Go there. Do not type anything in, and just look through different completed listings. Type in different weird names, like I just seen Ty Blunt's video where he sold a incinerator toilet. That is an item that most people would not even dare touch in the reselling business. But this man thought to look it up, obviously, or he knew that they already were selling really good. Obviously, the most experienced resellers know these kinds of items, and I know if I see an incinerator toilet, I'm going to look at it, and if it's extremely cheap or if it's even reasonably priced, I'm going to pick it up because I know that it sells good. He also sold a rare car on eBay. These are the kinds of things that you have to be thinking about. You have to think outside of the box. Medical equipment is another thing that people won't touch. I've seen tons of it. I've bought and sold tons of it. And most resellers will not pick that kind of stuff up. And most of the times, their excuse is just the fact that they don't know anything about it. So if you don't know anything about an item, or if you're not that's not your expertise, you don't have to be the professional of medical equipment to be able to buy and sell medical equipment, especially if you're getting it for extremely cheap. If I'm at a yard sale and I don't know anything about medical equipment, but I see a medical grade microscope and I type it in on eBay or I type it in on Google, and I see most of them selling between $2,500 to $3,500, and they have it priced at $50, it doesn't take a rocket science you don't have to be a genius to understand that there's no way to lose on that deal. So why would you pass it up just because you don't know about medical equipment? If I didn't know anything about medical equipment, I'm not passing that item up because I did my research, and research is key, knowledge is key, but you don't have to be an expert in every little niche or category to be able to buy items in those niches and categories. It's definitely good to have some knowledge. If you're going to deal in jewelry, I would expect that you learn enough to get by. I would expect you to figure out how to determine if something's real silver or if it's real gold. The same thing goes for any niche or any category. If you're gonna be a reseller, why not buy and sell in every category, every niche possible? Why pass items up just because you don't know anything about it? I'm not telling you that you have to be this way. I know that there are tons of resellers out there that love selling within their niche, and they don't feel like stepping outside of their niche, and that's fine. I've talked about it in previous videos. That's 100% fine, but you need to be the go-to person within that niche. If you're going to stay within a niche, then you need to learn more than anybody else within that niche, and you need to stand out, and you need to build that business so that you are the go-to professional in that niche. And that's how you survive if you're going to try to stay within a certain niche. But if you're not going to stay within a certain niche, then you need to learn how to get by and how to actually buy and sell anything and everything. If you've been following my channel, you know that I'm a big firm believer on resellers should be buying and selling anything, because you never know what you're going to come across. You never know what you will find when you're out there sourcing. So why limit yourself? Why restrict yourself and choke your business when your business could be blossoming and you could be flourishing right now in the economy and in the world? So, I mean, I just see so many people complaining about their sales. I see some people complaining about eBay, and it's just crazy because I am literally killing it. I have been killing it since day one almost. I don't think that I ever, obviously my business is going to have its ups and its downs, but I've never been at the point to where I feel like giving up, and that's for two different reasons. One reason is I enjoy this too much. I really do enjoy buying and selling stuff. I love it. I have a passion for it. But the other reason is because my business isn't suffering enough. I'm not losing money. I'm always making money, and I'm constantly building, and I'm expanding, and I'm doing different things. I'm diversified. I'm in multiple platforms. I always got my hands and feet in everything going on if it revolves reselling. So I hope this video was inspirational to somebody. I hope that this helped somebody. Get out there, think outside of the box, stop limiting yourself. When you see an item and you think that you can make some money on it, look that item up, do your research, and see if it's something that you can make some money on. Don't be scared of the weight. Don't be scared of the size. Don't be scared of the fact that you might not know anything about it. Just look it up, do the best that you can, and you will see once you start buying and selling and you start mixing things up and you start stepping outside of your comfort zone, you're going to start opening up your knowledge, you're going to start learning more, and your business is going to thrive. So until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. I am finally getting up there in subscribers. Hopefully I reach 1,000 soon, and that will be wonderful. I can start doing some other things with this channel. I'm definitely going to start uploading some more content soon. I want to say thank you to all of you out there who watch my channel and comment on my videos. Everybody that's been following me since day one, I really appreciate the support. I want to say thanks to Ty Blunt and Craigslist Hunter. Those are really two unique resellers. Ty Blunt is somewhat new to YouTube, but I already can tell that me and him have a lot in common. We buy and sell a lot of the same stuff, so go check out his channel. Obviously, everybody in the reselling community knows Craigslist Hunter. Pete, he is a great reseller. He is, he's someone that most resellers watch and they look up to him. He's definitely a really cool guy. He reminds me a lot of my dad. And yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody. And until next time, folks, I'm out. Peace.